What is good, Internet? It is Spirit of Paradox here, and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be covering Ultimate X issue number 2, and in this issue we are given a question. Who is Karen Grant in the original Ultimate Universe? If you guys already know the answer to this question, please don't spoil it just yet for those who do not know, but it is a very interesting story, especially with how this character meets Jimmy Hudson. So if you guys are fans of the Ultimate Universe, this is the channel you want to be on. We cover the original and the new on the channel, so make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Let's begin. After the events of Ultimatum, the Ultimate Fantastic Four have disbanded, the Ultimate X-Men are gone, and mutants are hunted as criminals. But there is hope. Last time we met Jimmy Hudson, the son of Ultimate Wolverine. And now, in this issue, we get to find out who is Karen Grant. The story begins with Karen Grant in the bathroom, dyeing her hair black, with narration. I met Karen Grant about 3 years ago. She had just moved here to Baltimore. She kept to herself, didn't talk about where she came from. Kinda mysterious, but I'd never seen a girl so beautiful in my life. At first she seemed too good to be true. And guess what? She was too good to be true. See, a guy like me, I figured I'd never have a chance with a girl like Karen. I didn't go to school. I lived about 6 blocks from where I was born. Never had been many places other than Washington, D.C. on a 6th grade field trip. Best thing I was known for was for making the game-winning catch in my high school state championship. Football was there. There were some guys around town who would buy me a beer just for doing that. I got a job as a security guard at the Sherry Square shopping center. We're called mall cops ever since that movie came out. And God's honest truth, I was an ordinary guy without a clue on why she ever spoke to me. Karen, on the other hand, there was something different about her. Like once upon a time she was a movie star, or like she saved the world. She was one of those people who, if she didn't have something nice to say, she didn't say it. Except this one time. We were over at the Coffee Bean, and some loser was mouthing off about what happened in New York City a few months ago. The tidal wave and all of that mutant stuff. He was going on about how God was punishing the wicked, and well, I swear, I thought Karen was going to toss that guy through a plate glass window. And the thing is, Karen Grant opens up a box full of trinkets of the Ultimate X-Men, and when she pulls out the visor of Ultimate Cyclops, it causes her great distress. She sort of acted like she lost her family up there, but she never explained what it was all about, and it never came up again. That's just how she was. And then we see Karen Grant begins to see all of the fallen mutants of the events of Ultimatum, and I mean all of them, down to Beast, Ultimate Juggernaut, Blob, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Cyclops, Professor X, and hell, even Ultimate Magneto. As Karen Grant is seeing all of the corpses of the Ultimatum event, she looks at Cyclops and says, "Please forgive me. This is so unfair," as she begins to cry more. Karen went to work, did her job, went home after. I must have asked her about 10 times before she said yes. Even after she agreed to it, she cancelled on me 3 more times. I didn't mind it though. A girl like Karen is a woman you wait your whole life for. We see that Karen Grant is working at this place in the mall. She puts on her badge, gets her bike, and gets ready to go to work. But an old lady asks, "Off to the mall, Karen?" "Yes, Mrs. Tilly." "Work, work, work. A pretty girl like yourself should go on vacation." "Good morning, Mrs. Tilly," and we see Karen Grant ride off to work. Which brought me to today. Today was going to be different. Today after work, I was going to ask Karen to marry me. And we see her working on her bike before two pair of hands try to grab her. But luckily she manages to stop this person. "Ow! Hey, it's me," this person says. "Dave, you know I don't like it when you do that." "Sorry, I should have known better." "I didn't hurt you, did I?" "A little. Maybe if you kissed it and made it better." Uh, Dave. Should have known better to do that too. And if you guys was wondering who's the narrator of this story, it's this nigga here, Dave. I got... I... I just got carried away, it being our anniversary and all. Karen's very funny about PDA. You know, public display of affection. Anniversary? Yeah, 2 years ago today, tonight, that we went out on our first date. We went to go see Wall-E, remember? Oh, right. Some of the guys thought Karen was, well, a bitch, that I was pussy whipped. They just didn't know her like I did. It was like she knew exactly what I was thinking about. Sometimes weirdly. Dave walks Karen to her workplace and says to her, "So, I'll pick you up at the end of the day? Maybe grab some dinner?" "I'd like that. And I'm sorry about your hand, Dave." "It's okay. My bad." As the two begin to walk inside, they're greeted with a surprise, and all of the work colleagues for Karen are singing for her. "Wow, what's all of this about?" she asks. "Karen, honey, you had the top sales for the month," as she holds up a picture for her. I missed it by one sweater," one of her snarky colleagues says. "Oh, hush, Maggie. Let Karen enjoy it. Come on, girlfriend. Let's have us some cake," as she looks at the picture, but with sadness. And that was Karen in a nutshell. Loved by everyone, except maybe herself. "You look totally surprised." "I was, still am. Etta, I know this is going to sound like a weird question. Where did you get that photograph?" "That? From Dave, off of his Facebook page." And when she finds out about this revelation, like Karen Grant almost has the ultimate Hulk eyes in level of anger here, and she looks right at Dave, and he's like, "What?" But deep down he knows he fucked up. Karen storms off out of the store, with Dave following behind. "Will you wait, please?" he says. "What have I asked you not to do?" "No photographs, I know. But what?" "I like you, Dave. You're the sweet guy, and I thought you were fairly bright. But for the life of me, I can't imagine why you put my photo up on the internet where anybody could see it." And then she continues to walk away. "Karen, if you could just talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. Now I have to figure what I'm going to do." "Do about what?" he asks. "I messed up bad. Greatest girl in the world and I blew it forever. Worst of all, I didn't really begin to understand what I'd done wrong. One little photograph and I wasn't even in it with her." But the thing is, a familiar face was watching the whole situation go by. Karen Grant goes to a table to sulk by herself and says, "How could I be so dumb?" But somebody else says to her, "Huh? You didn't seem like the talk to yourself type. But after everything we've been through, I guess anything would be okay. I, I don't believe it. Hi. And then we see Karen Grant go up to her and hug Rogue. Rogue! Shh! It's Anna these days, right, Karen? And then immediately, Karen realizes, you're not Rogue or Anna. How did you find me? Facebook. You can find just about anybody on there. And then we realize this person is Ultimate Mystique. Take it easy. I'm not an enemy anymore. We're all in this together. If I wanted to ambush you, you'd be dead. I came to you out in the open, in a public place, hoping we can talk, says Mystique. Karen begins to use her telepathy, and Mystique already knows this. Trying to mind wipe me, like you did your co-workers. How long do they all think you've lived in Baltimore? 2, 3 years? More like 2, 3 months, right? How are you blocking me, Mystique? The same way Magneto could stop Xavier. We took the basics of his helmet and made it smaller, smarter. Who's we? Take a walk with me. I could close your throat until you choke to death. You remember Vic, don't you? Just look at all these kids. As we find out, it's Ultimate Sabretooth after his third redesign in the original Ultimate Universe. We cleaned him up. Still can't get the Sabretooth out of him though. What is it you want? Asks Karen. You know the law. All mutants must turn themselves into the authorities or they will be shot on sight. We could have turned you in, wrecked your perfect little life down here. You don't want to make a scene of yourself, do you? As they begin to walk outside the mall, we see that Dave is outside waiting for Karen. Karen, listen, about before. Don't worry, Dave, everything's fine. Get lost, Davey. Excuse me? Leave him out of this, you deaf. I need to see some ID from you folks. I never saw myself as a hero. I only took this job at the mall to get a free surplus and hot dogs. Maybe I'd meet some sweet girls. I only got so lucky when I found Karen. I never saw myself as a hero. Ultimate Sabretooth sees Dave's gun and reacts accordingly and slashes at the guard's stomach, causing serious injury. Everyone panics in the heat of the moment. No, shouts Karen. What did you do? Says to Mystique. He went for his gun. And we see Karen begins to get angry and shouts, you shouldn't have come here, as she begins to use her telepathy. She throws Sabretooth into a truck. Okay, we'll go, calm down, she says. All I wanted was to be left alone. I earned that much, as we see her pick up cars and throw them at Ultimate Sabretooth. Fuck. He's not gonna be happy when he hears about this. And boom, all of those cars explode on top of Ultimate Sabretooth. Killing him? We don't know yet. But Mystique says to Karen, you've made things even worse. And for what? Leave, Karen says, while you still can. And as Mystique gets away, Karen tends to Dave through her telepathy. Shh, don't talk, help is coming. How? How can I hear you in my head? The same way I can hear you in mine. Karen, who are you? Really? If you had any feelings for me at all. And then she begins to cry and tells him the truth. My name is Jean Grey. I was one of the X-Men. Oh my god, you saved the world. A couple of times, yes. Why? Why didn't you tell me the truth? because I didn't want you to get hurt. And then Dave passes away from his wounds. And then Jean decides to use her abilities on everybody else to tell them, everyone listen, the police will come. You will tell them a man with a knife attacked this security guard and ran off, causing a terrible car accident. You will forget everything else, including me. This was the story of the last day of my life. Because of what happened, it was also Karen's. She had no choice but to disappear, make everyone forget she existed. And we see Karen return home. You just missed your friend. Good night, Mrs. Tilly. Wait, what? That nice young boy said he was a friend of yours. I told him to check back in the morning. Thank you. You did the right thing. What young boy? As we see her go upstairs and begins to start packing everything. But then she sees someone behind one of the doors. I only wanted what was best for her. It didn't matter if I knew her for 3 years or 3 days. I fell in love with her, and that was real. And we see Jean get the cutlery out using her abilities to get this hooded figure out of her house. Who the hell are you? She asks. And it's our boy. My name is Jimmy Hudson. You knew my dad. He was Wolverine. And Ultimate Jean Grey knows exactly who this guy is and where he comes from. And the last quotes from Dave is, wherever she goes, I hope she's safe and happy. And someday, living in a world where she'll finally be remembered. And that is where Ultimate X issue number 2 ends. So that was Ultimate X issue number 2, and oh boy, that was a really good one. I really enjoyed that issue. It's been a very long time since I've read it, and I don't think I read it this deep like I read it just now, but boy, the story in this was deep and it was emotional. So yes, we did find out that Karen Grant is Ultimate Jean Grey of the original Ultimate Universe. And the reason why she took on this alias, because she's undercover. All mutants have been outlawed after the events of Ultimatum. Basically, Ultimate Magneto fucked it up for all mutants after this. Like, after this, they were either hunted down or they were handed themselves in to the authorities, and they were ended up getting killed off. So, you know, he fucked it up for his entire race after that. But to see Jean Grey's situation here, it was really deep because one, she has to hide, completely change her looks, and basically fake or manipulate everybody's minds into thinking she's been there for 3 years when really she's been there for 3 months. And Dave, he's got this imaginary love in his head because of her altering of his mind. Well, she didn't put that in his head, for example. She didn't put the love interest in his head. That was something he had developed in that short period amount of time, with her making him think he's known her for 3 years. He made all of that up in his head. And, you know, he fell in love with her, basically. And it was really sad because he didn't get her in the end, because you could really tell. Dave, even though he's narrating through this entire story, he's a normal dude. He works at the mall, you know, but this is the Ultimate Universe, and we don't get happy endings in the Ultimate Universe. So he got killed off by simply just doing his job, and Ultimate Sabretooth is out here traumatizing more people again. So, you know, I really did enjoy this story, and it was sad, man. Like, it really was a sad story, but it was well done. Even though Jeff Loeb is still in my hot shit list for what he did in Ultimatum and Ultimates 3. He wrote those terrible stories, but this was definitely a step in the right direction. Even though I didn't really like anything after this, it took me a while to accept this. And Jimmy Hudson as well. So I am beginning to appreciate all of this a lot more. But yeah, Jeff Loeb, no Ultimate Universe books after this. Nada. No more. I thought the artwork was very good in this as well. I really like this kind of art style, and especially how Karen Grant Jean Grey was drawn. Like, I like a lot of her poses, I'm not gonna lie, come on bro, like, she was drawn very nicely, I must say. And especially her eye color. You know, I liked that whole green and red kind of eye color she got when she was mad. Like, I really liked that because it kind of reminded me of Ultimate Hulk's color. Anytime Ultimate Hulk gets a reference, and he's actually in this story as well, you know, I really do enjoy it. So I think the artwork was really cool. Obviously, we got to see Jean Grey and Jimmy Hudson finally meet each other at the very end. So you know how that's gonna go in the future, folks, if you've read the story. But no spoilers, no Ras Class spoilers. But yeah, man. So really enjoyed the artwork. I recommend buying this whole storyline, Ultimate X, the whole story. It's a really good post-ultimatum story. Unfortunately, there's only a few of those after Ultimatum. Like, I can't recommend a lot, but there's a handful of stories I can recommend, like Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates, that I can recommend, and maybe if you like Miles Morales, some of that, but I didn't really like that afterwards. But yeah, really enjoyed this comic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you did, make sure you drop a like, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.